And welcome to another episode of Getting the Herd After Hours. Today, I realize we're jumping a little late here, but I think that you'll appreciate why we're late today because we have something very special going on here. Today, we have our families group. By the way, I'm Nathan Mitchell. I'm a person in recovery and host today. We have with us today our CSAC, our certified substance abuse counselor, Moses Wright, also a person in long-term recovery, who's joining us today to bring our family group here into the mix and to show that to the world. And what y'all participating today have an opportunity to not only speak to the individuals who are watching through Facebook, through we have Zoom here. That's why we kind of struggled at the beginning there. Sorry about the little technical snafu again. But what we have an opportunity to do today is to take this message of hope and sharing that we're going to do today. And this goes directly to individuals who are currently experiencing incarceration, as well as to Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all the podcast platforms. And so this is really a really neat forum for us to investigate, to work together, and to learn. I'm a person in recovery myself. I'm alumni of the McShin Foundation. I found McShin through a jail program in Warrenton, Virginia. And I love to tell you that I came in here and had a great relationship with my family, but that just ain't the case. I had to learn a lot about myself, and my family had to learn a lot about themselves so that we could have the relationships that I have today. My sister lives just down the street in Glen Allen now. She and I are best friends. You know, my mom is up in Manassas, and she and I are going to New York in a few months to celebrate her birthday. And so I have these relationships. So, Moses, welcome back. I appreciate you being here, and thank you all for participating through Zoom and being here in the room. Take it away, buddy. Thank you.
Okay. I'd like to take a moment to ask everyone to uh, just to breathe, to take a moment to breathe. Uh, and then I'll ask you if in your mind you can choose a person on whom to focus, probably your loved one, someone with whom you'd like to feel more love. I'll ask you to say his or her name internally, aloud, or you can write it down, whatever is most comfortable for you. The other person is not meant to grow or change due to this process. This process focuses on the participant expanding his or her ability to feel and embrace love. Participants, you may use yourselves as the object of love, thereby increasing their ability, your ability for self love. And that's what I enjoy focusing on more. With this condition of substance abuse um, disorder, changing another person is just not what we're able to do. But what we can do is change ourselves so that we can be the best representative of love that's possible.
I like that.
And we can pray for them. To this point, there's no cure for this condition, but the support is really important. What what my experience has shown me is that uh, loved ones tend to want to fix their loved one, which is good. Uh, but it's unfortunate that they're going to have to fix themselves. So if we can focus on having the best life possible ourselves, we will be representative, and we can show them how love looks. And hopefully they can begin to identify through us. Rather than being enablers, we will learn how to better love our loved ones by loving ourselves. I'd like to ask you to introduce yourselves. We have two family members here, and we have two family members online. So if I could get you to introduce yourself and just briefly say how this condition has affected you, has brought you to this point of being here with us. Who would like to go first? Okay.
Hi, my name is Latanya. My husband is in the McShin program, and this disease has affected me in so many different ways. Just trying to learn and understand how to interact with my husband was an experience for me in the beginning. When I first started here, coming to this group, I didn't do anything but cry because I didn't understand. I'm at a point now where I focus on myself and trying to realize that how not to be a codependent, or to focus on him so much and allow him to go to his treatment while I focus on myself. And I'm realizing that there are things that that I kind of withdraw from myself, putting too much energy in him and his disease. And so I'm trying to focus more on myself and realizing that this is his treatment and this is where he is, and he will go through this himself. And all I can do is just pray for him and pray that that eventually he will understand his disease himself.
Thank you for sharing.
Hi, my name is Virginia. My son Rick is a participant here at McShin, and he is in sober living right now. And what this program has meant to me personally, I went from feeling hopeless, things out of control, to hopeful. And I thank this program for that. I know we have a long way to go. Recovery, I'm learning, is a lifetime journey.
Mm-hmm.
You're not one and done, and building your community, you're heard. And
Well
also,
done.
good plug, right? And building your community and your foundation to learn upon has been very important for me. So of how to be an ally to those in recovery. And personally is helping me be a better professional in what I do. I have more empathy for patients and family members. So going through this has helped me.
Did you say you were Rick's mom?
Yes.
Oh, he lives in my house.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, I'm Justin.
Hey, Justin.
Thank you.
So my name is Veronica, and my loved one, my partner, was at McShin several months ago and is now affiliated with McShin, even though he is at another um, another facility at the healing place. But so I would say that this addiction, my initial response, even though my family has dealt with addiction for a good chunk of my life, my response at learning about my partner's addiction was really initially deep disappointment and anger, and then some self-recrimination, because I thought that his relapse was related to something I had done. And so it was really important to be a part of this group, so that I began to understand more about how and why my partner relapsed, and the whole cycle of addiction, and why, and the role that I needed to play. I needed to be to be more, I'll just use this word, more detached in the way I look at the disease of addiction, and to also learn how to truly demonstrate support and love to my partner without, destroying myself in the process. And so I'm still learning those things. And this group really helps, because I confront something new and different each time I'm with this group. And so, yeah, the addiction is it, and it is an ongoing process. It doesn't end, and I can't fix it, which is the other frustration, because I'm used to fixing stuff. So yeah, this is an important journey for both me and for my partner.
I'll add, if I may, that participants are now beginning recovery. So active addiction is really in the past, and we're focusing on recovery. That's some of the language.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Clarence?
Yeah, my name is Clarence James. My daughter, Mary Carr, is at McShin now. Honestly, I had no idea what this meeting was about. I thought it was something totally different. As I said earlier when we started, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I've been sober 26 years now. And I just, maybe I'm seeing it from a different perspective, but all the words and all the things, it just it doesn't fix my frustration with the whole situation. I don't understand how some people can do it, some people can't. My daughter has chosen to go through the cycle for 6 years, which is taking me through and my wife through the cycle for 6 years, if not more. So I'm at the point, it's just frustrating for me right now. And I just don't have words for it. And I'm not sure, I'm not sure this is for me, honestly. I've grown up with alcoholics in my life. I'm an alcoholic. I've managed to keep my life straight. I stopped drinking with the purpose that I would never let my daughter see me drunk. She hasn't. But here I stand, witnessing her get drunk and benders, and as a father, as I said earlier, as a father trying to watch out for his daughter, it's the worst thing in the world to see your daughter out there in the street knowing that anything can happen to her. Anybody can take advantage of them. The world is not a safe place. It never has been, and it won't be. And it's frustrating and it's scary for me, because I'm expecting a call any night that she's left the facility, which she did it at Edge Hill, and she's gone off again. So yeah, when you sit by the phone and you just know the call's coming, and that's just the way I feel right now. So I'm frustrated, I'm angry, and I'm not sure there's anybody on this podcast, whatever we're doing, can say that's going to change my mind and make me feel any better about it. And that's just where I'm at.
Thank you for sharing. I can identify with your frustration, to have a loved one go through the consequences of their using is not a pretty sight. Uh, what I've experienced with loved ones is that loved ones are wanting to coddle their loved ones and protect them. And that makes all the sense to me. Uh, Dealing with this condition is there's nothing that I can do for the person who's using. It's something that they must do for themselves. Clarence, I listened to your uh, sharing that you had experienced drinking and that you had found a way to stop, and not understanding why your daughter can't do the same thing the same way that you did is frustrating. I also hear the long nights and the worry as to uh, how she is, if she's in danger, will she choose to leave uh, this program? Certainly, we hope not. But I've come to accept that they're going to do what they're going to do. And I have no control over that. What I can do is be the healthiest person that I can so that I can be there for them. We have many sessions where we sit and talk and attempt to find out where your loved ones are so that they can begin to share and identify some things that cause them to go back to using again. Um, that isn't a fix. That requires a lot of patience and a lot of prayer. Um, and we've had successes, and I'll stop talking and allow some of the other participants to share their experience, strength, and hope. Can anyone identify with Clarence and his frustration?
I can say I can identify. Like I said, my husband has been in treatment back and forth, wanting to change, and he's had his difficulties in finding his way. And when I said I was an enabler, I would follow right behind him because I wanted him to get the help that he needed. I wanted him to change. It was all what I wanted, but he at the time wasn't ready. And so he has to understand his treatment and his triggers, and he has to find his way of realizing that I'm tired of getting high. I'm tired of that feeling. I'm tired of being sick. I'm tired of just everything that he's tired of. And I had to stop chasing behind him and fixing everything on the low. Um, I was anytime that he had court, I was there with the lawyer. Just protecting him, but he was not protecting himself. And I really had to remove myself from that so that he can understand the importance of his treatment and of being clean and being alive. He had to want it for himself. And so, and it's very hard because it's many nights that I, wondered and wanted to go to his job and make sure he comes straight home, but that didn't happen like that. And so I really allowed him to go through the things that he went through. And I started going to family anonymous meetings myself and finding the strength for myself, because I became very weak during the time of chasing him. When he was having a good time, I was up at night crying. I was up at, just thinking about and just staring at him, making sure that he doesn't overdose or something in my sleep. That was my worst fear. But he had to want his treatment for himself.
Thank you for sharing. How has your husband's how has his progress been? What do you see different since you're doing something different?
So we've had several conversations about our treatments, and he was surprised that that I still was attending this family anonymous meeting that I do online on Monday nights. And he says, "Wow, you're still going to that?" And I said, "Yeah." And I think that, he's telling me that he's coming to the meetings here, and he's telling me he's working a program. And I know that he did get assistant house leader. So I don't think that they would promote him to do something if he wasn't doing what he was supposed to. But I do hear him talk more about his treatment and how he doesn't want to go back. He doesn't want to go back, even though, you know, you hear and you talk about, someone can be clean for a certain amount of time, and they can just pick up at any given time. And so that's why I think it's important to that you really focus on yourself and the energy that you bring within to yourself, and not so much to their treatment, because like I said, they have to want it for themselves. So it's been great. Um, a new look for him. He's looking good and, healthy, and it's awesome. But, it's just still always, that question of when.
You mentioned crying when you initially came here, and I remember
Oh, I
that.
bawled.
How did you get beyond that?
I started letting go. I
Mhm.
I started, realizing that it's not me. I'm not using. It's my husband that's using. And so even though it hurts me to see him in that manner, um, I had to find strength in myself. That's in my readings. That's in my prayers. That's in my family anonymous classes. That's me. I even went back to school. I'm working on my master's in social work. I started focusing more on myself and not chasing behind him, because I really did chase him a lot. And so I had to breathe and realize that this treatment was for him, and if he's going to do it, he's going to do it for himself and not for me, because I wanted him to do it because we were in love. We're high school sweethearts. I wanted him to do it for me, but he had to do it for himself.
Yeah.
I wanted to just say to Clarence, because we're on visual Zoom, and I could see Clarence's face as he was relating how he was feeling about his daughter's addiction. And so like him, I'm not new to the addiction train, so to speak, because I've experienced it with my family. But I just cannot emphasize even anymore what you said, and I don't remember your name. You're just talking about
Latanya.
kind of Latanya
Yeah.
distancing yourself in some ways emotionally. We learned early on in my, my participation in this group, kind of loving with detachment, and being able to understand, the behaviors of your loved one, but not kind of taking them on yourself, either by enabling them through overly protecting and coddling, or by getting angry and pushing them away, because they're not doing what you want them to do. And so in some ways, Clarence, just how do you look differently at your daughter's behavior so that you can step back and that you can be safe and healthy emotionally, and then provide her with the kind of support she needs? And I don't know, Moses, I feel like this is an area where we need to help Clarence see some options for engaging with his daughter in some ways that don't negatively impact his health.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yes, I found myself winding the cord to the. I'm telling you, I was getting nervous, man, and I was wondering, oh my goodness. But that's what this condition does to me. I want to fix it.
Yeah.
And what I've found is that it doesn't happen that way. If I can keep myself together, then I can be there for our loved ones. And that's really important, because when they come to us, they're wanting to see something. They're wanting to know that we're there, but differently from enabling. We're there with love. And I used to talk about tough love, but I've changed that to love. I'm in a training for coaching, and the number one thing that we practice is how to elevate the person, whoever it is we're dealing with, how to elevate them. And it's just amazing to me at how people respond to my attempting to lift them higher. And it's also evident to me that I don't come across as angry, confused, powerless, because I can give them love. And I have seen the examples of how they brighten up, how they make changes, because it's not what they've been feeling for themselves. It's loved ones, participants are feeling the same thing, I think, as loved ones. They're frustrated. They don't like disappointing their loved ones. They're full of guilt and shame, and they don't know what to do with it. My sense is that they're not angry with anyone outside of them, but they are really doing a number on themselves. And what they benefit from is I like the word coddling, but learning how to do it without babying them.
Yeah.
Because they're all grown. And they will have to go through what they go through. But being able to lift them up seems to make a difference. And I see it all of the time when loved ones back up and begin to take care of themselves, they witness changes in their loved ones. It's just amazing to me. Yeah. I'll get some help with that one. Have you seen any changes in your son?
I have. I kind of feel like my old son is back, but in a different format, a new and improved.
Okay.
You know, he's learning to navigate his own recovery and doing it for himself. Not for me or not for our family, but he really is working on himself.
How does that feel to you?
I feel like he's growing up,
Ah.
maturing, and looking to the future, whereas the future was very murky before. That go back to like, do I have hope? And very negative thinking, and a lot of what you said about self-doubt and kind of, it's a very circular thinking. I want to quit. I got a plan to quit, but I didn't quit. I got a plan to quit, but I didn't quit. Got a plan to quit. It's like, so you kind of like that old, keep going in that circle, and it's very tiring.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying, I'm just so tired of this.
Yeah. Like a gerbil on a wheel.
Which was, very eye-opening to me to say, that's a powerful disease.
Yeah.
And you can't, a lot of people can't do it on their own.
Yeah.
I go back to you need your community.
Community.
You need your community, which you have taught me about, that I need my own community.
Community. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And sponsors.
Right.
Yeah.
Sponsors.
Yeah.
Everybody needs sponsors.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Veronica, I heard you reaching out to Clarence. I could almost feel it that you were reaching out to him and wanting his pain to lessen, I guess. And have you ever been in that place?
Oh yes. Oh yes. And I would say a number of times because it's been interesting thinking about where it comes from, where I think that my loved ones ought to be able to deal with their mess. Deal with their mess and get on with their lives, because either I've seen somebody deal with it effectively and successfully. Why can't you deal with your mess? And by the way, you're ruining my life. You're messing up my life. So you need to fix yourself so I can move on with my life. And often I have pushed folks out of my life, either relatives or whomever, because I chose not to have that distraction, that frustration in my life. And I don't think I fully accepted that addiction is a disease. I thought addiction was a decision. And so I think that to understand that difference is just huge, to really understand what addiction is. And that's not taking anything away from the knowledge that changing your life as an addict is is a decision, is a decision. So, it's just, for me, it's just a learning journey. And so I would just say to Clarence, I've been just ticked off and angry and frustrated and just needed help getting out of that space to where I could see my loved one more clearly, and then I could respond in a more effective way, and hold my loved one accountable, and all of that stuff that I'm now learning how to do, but to not think that there's something that I could do or say that could fix it. There's nothing I can do or say that will fix it, either good or bad. And so, for me, it's a journey. It's a learning journey, and I just pray, Clarence, that
You've been coming for a while to the group.
Yeah.
What keeps you coming here? Because I heard Clarence say that he wasn't sure that this was the thing for him.
Yeah. Well, I would say at first I wasn't sure that I wanted to come or stay. And I thank you for inviting me. What I realized was what I experienced was that the pain and the suffering in some ways that I saw experienced by the parents and the loved ones was also very painful for me to watch. But I also listened to some of the lessons that were being taught, and as we began to practice some of that, I could see the lights come on among some of the participants in the group, and in fact the lights came on for me. So I would say the combination of hearing the stories of loved ones and hearing how they've used and employed some of the techniques that you and Karen have shared with us have just been eye-opening for me. And then, and so I think those are the first two things. But the other two things is that people in this group really care about each other, and that's helpful to be able to share my story with people who care and understand. Because the people outside of me, outside of this group, I have friends who have said to me, "You need to get rid of him. You just need to get him out of your life." And I want to say, but it's not that simple. It's pushing people out and pushing people away. So yeah, I'm learning, and much of the material that you shared, Moses, has been really, really valuable. The readings and some of the lessons have been really valuable.
Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I also have gotten lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I come here, I learn a little more, and I'm just thinking about how nervous I have been tonight, and I'm wondering, what is this all about? You mentioned the people here care. I can feel it. I can feel it. And for every day that the participants get a little brighter, every day that they show a different type of concern for their loved ones, just they shed that exterior, and I see it happening, and it doesn't seem to be easy. And I realized that it wasn't easy for me. And I think about Clarence, who is one of the folks who who made that decision on their own, although what I have seen is that folks have some type of experience that helps them to move forward. And there are a million stories in the Naked City. And I just need every one of them because they're so different, so unique to the individual, to the family, and coming together. What I found in group is that everybody gets a chance. One week I might be on top of the world. The next week I'm like a blabbering idiot. What is wrong? But it's a process that an individual must experience. And I'd rather do it here with you guys than alone. Because when I leave here and I go home,
Yeah.
my wife is watching her watch. Where have you been? And what are you doing? And oh my goodness, I'm trying to do something significant here. I don't know whether it's helping them, but boy, it helps me. That's selfish, and that's what we say. This is a selfish experience that we're having. We're giving of ourselves, but in that giving is where we receive, or that's been my experience. And this has been quite a night. I'm next to tears, and I don't know what it is, but I'm just glad to be here and be with you guys. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Thank you, Moses.
glad to be here.
Thank you, Moses. Moses, it's about 8:07 right now. How are you feeling on time, sir? Is the wife calling home for you right now?
Always.
Always.
I think she's jealous, actually.
There are a few comments that have come through here, and I think some thank yous and hellos, and there was a large one from the one that you just were on, Justin. Matt, well, that one's fine too. Crystal Swan says, loving a person in addiction is so hard. You want to fix them, often at the risk of losing yourself and letting them continue to hurt you. It's so hard to find and sustain boundaries. And I find that's a discussion I have a lot with the coachees that I have, and also with my own sponsor as a person in recovery and creating boundaries for me that work, and keeping those boundaries. You don't want to enable, but you also don't want to shut them out. You get angry and do or say things you regret because we often don't understand, and doing either doesn't help. Love, support, uplift, and encourage without enabling. That's all we can do. Doing research and living through my husband's, presumably husband's recovery. Any thoughts on that? And then there was a couple other comments, Justin. It helped me when I started to be around successful people and seeing the benefits of being sober and clean. That's from Matthew K. I would like to see that's actually the one before that. I would just like to see more educational programs and things that are about economics and business. That's an interesting point. We mentioned today where you were in the house meeting, the community meeting with all of our participants today, and before the community meeting, I was meeting with that woman who's running for delegate, and I was talking about how resourceful our community can be, and the resourcefulness is born of for at least in my case, the resourcefulness for me is born of all the energy I put into the using, getting it, finding it, ways and means. And now I find that for myself, when I put that energy, when I turn that into something good, woo, to quote Moses over here. And I find that a lot of individuals in recovery are the same. Like there's a resourcefulness that comes from that. There's individuals going out and starting new businesses and then helping the next person and learning how to do that. So I love that, and I love what we've all shared here today. What you have all come and participated in this yet again another little technological experiment where we've had half an internet connection and this and that. But I'll tell you what, when we all are coming together as community, and staying in our herd. And oh, by the way, Rick, man, he's at Chamberlain. I love that he went to Chamberlain because there's that community band room there, and I know he uses it, so that's really cool. And I've known Harold for a minute, so I love that we see that. And there's a chance here. So you all have participated today, and whether you know it or not, of course, you've helped Moses because he's told you. You certainly helped me, and this will go to some other people. Like I said, our biggest audience is individuals who are currently experiencing incarceration. And one thing that I'll sometimes do out there is ask who has seen the show while in jail, while imprisoned. And you'll get 4, 5, 6 hands up. And that's a testament to the work and the outreach that y'all are doing right now. And so appreciate that. Justin, thank you, sir, for everything tonight. Flexibility, sense of humor. Thank you to Peter Z, who ducked out of here. He had to go to a house meeting, but he helped set up today too. Moses, thank you for this and this fantastic experiment.
This is my first time, the last 6 years or so, being involved with a program like McShin, which is a peer-run program. And the success and the examples that have come out of this, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I don't want to go back to the clinical side. I want to stay here and see, so that Jesse can help me to get my act together, because he tells me all the time, you're not quite doing this right. Okay. But being here and seeing how this thing happens, this recovery happens, is gratifying. Thank you.
So thank you for everyone who participated on the Zoom thing. We'll iron this out again a little bit better for next time, but we got it. Was a start there. So now we can grow from there. There's a seed, and we'll continue to nurture that seed and to make this family night Wednesday, when we do it next, and we'll talk about that. But I love, we've got sustained viewers, and so we've had people commenting, and so it seems to be something that people want. I know my mother got into family and Al-Anon, but I mean, a similar program, and she found out that she didn't have to do things for me anymore. It's a very painful lesson for all of us. But anyway, I will ramble on. Moses, I don't want to close out. Are you? Is there anything else you want to say?
No.
Anything else anyone else want to say?
I just look forward to our being in the studio again.
Yeah.
This has been neat.
I love this. I
Yeah.
really, really do. There's another comment. We'll see what that is real quick. Love family night from Crystal Swan. So do I, Crystal. And Crystal, I did see your comment earlier about being on the podcast. Hit me up. Find me on Facebook or send it to the info@mcshin.org. Let me know what you want to do. Talk about, we can talk. Maybe, we're always looking for participants on the show. We got some noise in the background. I know y'all can hear that in your ears. It's really, it reverberates, doesn't it? So anyway, listen, thank you to everyone who participated. Tomorrow afternoon at 2:00, we have Joanna Vance. She is a woman in recovery living in West Virginia. She's part of the West Virginia Recovery Advocacy Project, and she's a friend of mine. I'm eager to see her back here in the herd. We're going to talk about mobilized recovery. We're going to talk about some recent advocacy pushes that have been going on, and we're going to talk about the 10% set aside. Tune in tomorrow to find out what that means, and we'll go from there. So thank you all for participating, and have a great night.